Good afternoon, art aficionados. My name is Jason Bitbender Brink, and I am here for the very first Gala Games Blue Realm stream. Now, this is something that a lot of you who have been holding the Blue Realm token have been waiting for a long time. And I'm sorry that it took us so long to get here. But here we are doing the very first Blue Realm stream. I'm very, very happy to be part of this. Now, we are going to be setting a little bit of context here. The way that this works is that we are taking questions from people who hold the Blue Realm token, specifically about the concept of art. Okay, and we're going to be focusing on, in a series, art from many of our different games. In this case, the title that we're focusing on today is Mirandus, and I have here with me a bunch of the Mirandus team, and we're going to be talking about art, what it takes to make art in games, what art looks like, and Peter has be bringing all of this together into one awesome stream where it's going to be a little tiny bit. I'm going to guide things along a little bit, but mostly I'm going to be taking questions from the community, specifically from the Blue Realm holders. You're not going to be able to ask a question unless you are a Blue Realm holder. And this is primarily going to be taking place in Discord, where I believe we have a Blue Realm channel set up for that. I'm going to go open that up, and we're going to just let the Mirandus team take it away for a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit about art and whatnot, and then we're going to take some questions from the community. So do you guys want to take it away? How about introduce yourselves first?
Well, I'll introduce some of my people. Thank you, Mr. Brink. Manuel and me, you guys know us pretty well. But the actual games are made by the incredible people that you guys don't always get to see. And so one of the things that we've always wanted to do on Mirandus is get more faces in front of you, and you can see who's really creating the magic. So we have Matthew Bell. He's awesome, man. 25-year veteran, Blizzard, Sierra Online, Amazon, Riot. Got Peter Delgado. Peter Delgado, again, 25 years, Warner Brothers, Electronic Arts. Peter Delgado and I worked at Troika Games together back in 1926. Oh, man, it was something else. We worked on Temple of Elemental Evil, so I've known Peter a really long time. And then we have Hugo. Hugo, you guys have all seen Hugo's work. You see it, typically every week on Mirandus Mondays, all the cool images. And he's a 15, 20-year vet. Worked at Ubisoft for like a decade, I think. But anyway, these guys are awesome, and we're so lucky on Mirandus to have them. And we absolutely jumped at the opportunity to talk about Mirandus art-y stuff. And for those of you who don't always follow Mirandus, one of the things that we like to do on Mirandus isn't just show what we're doing, but show a little bit about what that process looks like and how it's made. And I think we're going to dip into a little bit of both. Matt, take it away.
Cool. All right.
We're pulling up the shared screen, guys.
Cool. Great. Well, it's nice to meet everybody. I joined the team not that long ago, just under a year. And Mirandus was already great. The art was already great. And I wanted to come be a part of what's next. And as I did, I started asking people what was to them the art of Mirandus. I heard things that weren't too surprising, like the fact that we're a very poly-based game. I also heard things like there's a painterly aspect to what we create here. And I heard things like we're realistic. And these kind of all pull against each other in different ways. And so I wanted to understand, how do we put this kind of together? So what we do in art direction. A lot of people think art direction is a very subjective thing, just tastemakers choosing what looks best. That's not really it at all. We try to build things that are very objective and based on certain criteria. And the three big pillars that we think about for art direction is first identity. And identity is that thing that we can all share with one another. It's like a common language. When you see it online, you're like, oh, that's from this game. And you can tell right away what it is. It's that identity that's very special to it. Then there's the emotion. And this is that piece, everybody, when they're reaching for a game, they're reaching really for an emotion. They want to feel a certain way. And it's very specifically the art team's job to make sure that that's the emotion we're serving up. And lastly is craftsmanship. And that's not just about dialing everything to 11, but really prioritizing what are your 11s so that they really matter. Now, these are just the questions that we have to find answers for: identity, emotion, and craftsmanship. So what are our three pillars actually? And so for Mirandus, the first one is kind of like the first thing we said with being poly-based, but more specifically, it's realism with an abstractive, reductive style. And what that means is that there is not really any button I can just click that's going to make a low poly wolf out of a realistic wolf. It's all about selectively choosing what stays and what doesn't. What's going to really make it feel like the wolf. That's that essence of the original source. And the next is emotion. And this community has been very clear what emotion they're hungry for. And we want to serve that up. We want to keep that in the forefront of how we think about all of our art. And then lastly, for craftsmanship, it's really about two things. It's about the speed of creation and the how well it's going to perform in the engine. So losing those filters, we wanted to look at the things that we're already building and that you guys have already been looking at. And this is all from the tech test, things you guys are very familiar with, all very beautiful things. And we wanted to ask ourselves, how can we raise this particular bar? You may have heard the quote that perfection isn't when there's nothing left to add, but nothing left to take away. That's what we're really focusing on. So in a meadow, like what can we reduce? How can we make it really clearly just this meadow, but take more things away to keep it really clear and impactful? A cliffside, what does that look like when we get it really clear, just the basic shapes that we really care about? A mountain peak even. What's the essence of that? What do we really want? Or even a house and its shingles, and how do we keep those elements to look really beautiful? And then all of this has to be tied together in the real-time engine with beautiful lighting. And that's really kind of the recipe that we're really looking at now. So that's kind of that's my little spiel on art direction and like how we're looking at the game and what we're trying to bring. And you'll see that permeate through the rest of the slides here and there as we go on. So some of the things that we're doing with this world is we're trying to fill it with stuff, right? It could be anything as small as a cockroach, but it could be the crabs that are scuttling around on the beach, or the frogs that you might find, or little rodents or raccoons. These are all different things that, you know, we want to fill the world with. But we're not just thinking about terrestrial creatures. We're also asking ourselves, what's going to be in our skies? What are we going to see? And it doesn't have to always be a bird. It might be something else. Maybe down by the beach is one kind of bird, and then something else in the forests. And then, of course, small songbirds and things like that everywhere else. Now, there are animals, of course, in Mirandus that aren't going to be as docile as this. Beautiful still, but absolutely dangerous. Could be anything like a bear, or it could be a wild boar, or even a buck. Mountain lions, foxes, and wolves.
It's a tech constraint. It's a tech constraint too, guys. That's interesting to bring up. You know, is that one of the things that we have to discuss is if we want 1,000 living things in a zone, ambient creatures typically mean something that you see and someone else on their client doesn't. A roach running around, you guys don't need to see the same roach at the same time. But anything that you see that you guys need to see simultaneously, like something larger, and we usually say softball size, certainly rabbit size, anything you can shoot or touch, or that's going to have an impact on the simulation, you guys all need to see at the same time. So there's always an interesting line between what can you see at the same time as everybody else, what can you shoot. For instance, a seagull, if they're just flying around in circles above the beach, we don't need everyone to see the exact same seagulls flying around. So it's an interesting line that we have to draw to make the world feel alive, but also know what we want to include in the simulation or not.
Absolutely.
Sausage.
Speaking of these animals, you recognize this one. This is the wolf that's been in the demo, and he's great. He's been wonderful. Mauled a lot of people. But we wanted to ask ourselves
that wolf has really messed me up, by the way. Lots of people.
Yeah.
Really messed me up.
I think everybody.
It's a wolf.
And we wanted to ask ourselves the same question about the same kind of a question. How does this fit into the art style? Is this working? It's already low poly, but what's needed here? So we started comparing it to, the source of wolves that photographically and anatomically and what we wanted to bring over. And we made a few adjustments. And so here's a little sneak preview into the wolf that will be mauling you in the future. And here's a little 3D preview.
It's much more sleek. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that we talk about a lot is that, natural things are very beautiful and very scary and very interesting. And there's no need to change them. You don't need to change things. A wolf encounter in a forest is a moment. It's pretty cool. So, let's capture that essence and try to get it in the game. And I think what's interesting people will be seeing in the future is the wolves were attacking on site because that's what we had from an AI standpoint. But what's being worked on now is that they actually have internal clocks and timers, and they're more goal-based. So, what you'll be seeing in future releases is that the wolves might not attack you on site. They will travel in packs, and if they are not hungry, they might be, leery of you. They might even try to dodge you or hide. But if they're hungry, they'll be more bold, and they'll be more likely to attack. So we always try to create a natural environment and have things be a little more as they are. It makes the game more intuitive. It makes the world more natural and exciting, we think.
Cool. All right. There's also the creatures, and McCarthy's not going to let me show you too much, so I'm just going to kind of go through these really fast. But we do have a lot of great ideas for some of the more wild creatures that are going to be surprises you'll be finding around in Mirandus.
So there's a little life hack here, is that if you leak things to the community, they treat you well, and then they become a fan, you see, and then it just works out better for everybody.
Well, these are leaks, but the world of Mirandus needs to be a big, huge mystery that players need to discover. So I just don't want to give up too much. Take that, life hack.
Fine. McCarthy, Jesus. Fine.
Come on.
And for this part, I'm going to let Hugo take over. He can talk a little bit about his process and how he brings some of these concepts to life.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Do you hear me? So yeah, every time we start working on new biomes, every time we are working on new biomes like swamp or wetlands, we are looking for cool references. Like, both cypress are very cool. They are very iconic. Ferns, aquatic plants, water lilies, stuff like this. So then the trick is to find the essence of these trees. What makes them unique? What is their own flavor? So it's almost like a character design exercise. You need to find a cool shape, a cool silhouette for every trees, every plants. So yeah, once you have enough silhouettes basically, and once you have enough shapes, and it's like a library of shapes, you can start working on a narrative and start on the thumbnails step.
Can
So
I?
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Actually, this is a. I'm just going to ask questions because I can, and nobody can stop me.
No
other
one can
people,
stop
and
you.
he dare. So this is all like your concept art that you drew, right? Like on pieces of paper. This is awesome. I'm seeing so many cool details here that I know that Michael isn't going to let you go into. Like,
I'm already mad.
I can see you're mad because I saw a head statue there, and now I'm like, this is so freaking cool. I just got to say, this is so cool. Thank you. I'll shut up now.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. It's a good transition because before starting the 3D, the 3D exercise, we need to try to simplify the complexity of life. Like swamps are so noisy. There is trees everywhere. There is plants everywhere. So the exercise is to find a good balance between details and simplicity. Like for example, like the gator head, I had this idea of making a huge, massive statue, some kind of gigantic gate in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the swamp. So I had some visual ideas of like totem statues or stuff like this. I found the middle one pretty cool with the stone arches with two gators on the top, and then I could start my final touches in Photoshop. Yeah, before Photoshop, sorry, I'm using Blender a lot. Like almost every day, I can say I can try my ideas on Blender if it's still working in 3D. Sometimes I need to simplify more stuff. Sometimes it's okay. My 2D sketches are good enough in 3D without changing them too much. Like the bold cypress, I directly use my flat silhouette sketches. The crocodile was more, the alligator was more complex a bit, but I was happy enough and I could start working directly in Photoshop. So yeah, Photoshop is like the cream on the cake. You can add, the colors, the wildlife animals, like, the birds, the water lilies, all the small details. It's the final touches. Like I wanted also to have some contrast, so I chose specifically a blue, a blue desaturated color for background, and I had some warmer oranges and brown colors for the middle ground and foreground. So that way I can try ideas and find ideas also for simplification of the moss and stuff like this. So it's the final touches. It's most obviously the most fun part for me. It's colors and mood, and yeah, that's basically the way we are working.
Now, you guys have seen concepts and you've lived in these areas in the tech test where you have the beaches and the forests, but we're going to show you some biomes that you have not seen yet.
Should we talk about biomes for a second before we go too deep into like what is a biome? It's a design constraint, guys, really. When you're trying to develop a land that everyone can explore, you need to set up biomes for every zone. And we use Köppen climate classification and try to define what the biome is for that zone. And then from there, what biomes could be nearby. And because those biomes are slightly different, you can work on what the transitions are between those two. And we have to really curate that so that it feels comfortable when you're moving zone to zone, and also be thinking about, the grand land and terrain of Mirandus for years and years to come. We need to make sure that we're reserving certain biomes so that you guys really get a big, cool new experience when you're exploring the Isles of Mirandus.
Cool. Hugo, you want to talk a little bit about one of the first ones we've got here?
Yeah, this one was for the canyon biome. So working on sketchbook for me is very efficient, as I don't need to focus that much on details and beautiful line drawing. I'm just brainstorming shapes basically. It's all about shapes, rhythm, and you know try to add some storytelling in the, for instance, for this big massive old pine trees, or the rocky stone arches, stuff like this, just to find simplification and good visual language. Yeah, once I'm happy with my sketches, I like to go directly into Blender. Blender is my second favorite tool. So I am playing, I'm adding shrubs, I'm adding dead pine trees, big, medium, small rocks, just to try to. It's like a gigantic Lego game. I can move my camera. I can play with the light, play with the sun direction. It's very fun, and I can find good composition ideas. Most of the time I'm collecting screenshots, and I'm leaving them in my mind for later, and I can start trying to add some narrative ideas. But yeah, it's basically the way I'm working, adding my rocks and my trees, and then I can finish. By Photoshop as usual, and making some narrative ideas. Yeah, like those ones are directly. It's basically screenshots from Blender directly. I don't even do render all the time. Sometimes it's just quicker to do a quick screenshot, and I add some clouds, small details, the statues, the horseman, stuff like this. It's very efficient. It's very quick. I can produce a lot of proposition and thumbnails like this. It's not always refined, but I have a lot of options to share with the rest of the team, and the 3D guys are making their magic after with their own different tools. But yeah, Blender and Photoshop are very, very artist friendly.
I gotta say here, and this is I guess something I'm reminding myself as well as the community. This is purely about art and design. There is no or art and art design. There are not going to be any game design questions that I'm bringing over from the Discord,
But
which really frustrates me.
There is going to be an AMA for Mirandus, I think, on July 27th. I'm not totally sure, but it's something around that date, where we're going to go over all sorts of that business.
Yeah. So save those questions. But this, am I on that AMA poll? I think I need to be on that AMA poll so I can just ask the questions that Jason wants to have answers to. Because I want to ask some questions about all of this stuff. Maybe here's an interesting thing. Maybe this is a thing that we could talk about at Comic-Con. McCarthy, what do you think?
You have my phone number. You can call me anytime you want.
I know, but that's not nearly as fun as saying that if people from the community were to come to our Gala Gold exclusive event, that you might be there.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah, we already pinged the Discord community a bit on the Mirandus channel, but yeah, a bunch of us are going to be there from Mirandus, and I think we're trying to lock a time where we can have a Mirandus focused happy hour, and you guys all can show up, and we can make sure that anyone who's a Mirandus fan can sit there and chat with us about all the things.
Okay, there you go. Continue. Sorry, my bad.
I might invite you, Jason.
Aw, thank you.
Well, you guys want to see some more biomes? We got some other ones to show too.
Nah, it's enough biomes.
That's enough? Yeah, we're done.
I'm kidding. Please show the biomes. Please, I must see them.
So yeah, this is like very rainforesty, this whole section.
Dude, that is so cool.
And with that,
wish I could draw it.
You guys probably want to see some of the real-time stuff, yeah? In fact, we've got Peter here, of course, with us, and he can tell you a little bit more about all this.
Sure. Before we jump in with Peter, can I just say something? This whole thing's about art, right? I just want to point out the exquisite artistry behind the sound design.
Yeah.
In what you guys just showed. That is incredibly cool. Like I just want everyone to, when you have a second, go back and watch that part again and listen. Just close your eyes and listen to it. It's amazing.
Big shout out, Mike, Ethan, Roy, our audio team. They are incredible. And
absolutely.
Anytime they travel, everywhere they go, they have microphones on, and almost everything you're hearing in Mirandus is things they have recorded. You know, we do have to download libraries for some stuff, but these guys generally do live recordings out in the wild to, again, try to make the environment feel as natural as possible. So Mike, Roy, and Ethan, we love you. Great job, guys. We'll have to get them on. We'll have to get them on and do a whole thing about the audio.
Let's do it.
I would
love to do that. I would love to do that. And the community would love it too. Sorry, I'll shut up now. Peter, it's all you, man.
Cool. Here's some vignettes for each biome. We tried capturing the spirit of each area in a limited amount of space. Here we have the high desert, the forest, the beach, the rolling hills, and the rainforest.
And we do this just to get the vignettes, just to throw some chunks together and kind of get a feel for what they look like together, right, Peter?
Yeah. From here, from player's point of view, we try to capture the feel of each area. It's pretty cool. Here you see the high desert area, and then the
Not
rain.
that we're gonna have that. We might not have a high desert area at all.
Oh, okay. Well, we might be different. So this is the rainforest with draping moss over the tree trunks or tree branches, just to capture the idea of it. Here's the rolling hills with a giant statue hinting at a past civilization here.
That's not going to be there. There's no such thing.
Son of a gun. Well, here's a statue in the rolling hills.
Some random thing you guys chucked in there for no reason.
Lastly, here's we're entering the tall cave, with hopefully is beautiful, but at the same time dangerous, with long, thin waterfalls creating a small waterways. Just to give you a story. I also added some vegetation to the areas where the sunlight would hit, and in my point of view, it gives it a more of a story than rather just a plain cave.
Beautiful, Peter.
And you can see it works really well. Doesn't matter if it's nighttime or daytime. It still works really well. It was really fun working in this area.
Yeah, that all came out so good, Peter.
That's so beautiful.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
I love the attention to detail, and this is one of the things that I think is whoa, that was cool. Hold on. I love the attention to detail.
We killed that slide. Come on, man! You're giving away too much.
I thought I'd just leave it in for a second. Yeah,
there you go.
We're never doing this again.
The problem is it's already streamed, so you know that there's like 18 blog posts that are already being written about that as we speak.
All right.
Continue, guys. Continue.
Sorry, man. It's too late.
It would be really funny if you actually deleted that slide now. That would be hilarious, and we just don't talk about it and pretend it never happened.
There were a lot, just so you know, there were tons of slides that Matt wanted to show, and it's supposed to be a bit of a secret that players get to discover, and I don't want to give away too much. So,
yeah, it was a 3-hour epic adventure. It was going to be great. all on the cutting room floor.
You were going to share
on blowing up about that. There you go.
I won't linger. I'll spare McCarthy, but just look at the beauty, and I won't even talk about it. I'm just gonna go right.
Everything you show means it's never going to be in the game, except for this.
That's right. It's immediately cut.
Dude, I've had a beer with you there. I'm pretty sure I've had a beer with you there. I have.
That's right. Time to raise your steins now. Yeah, this is one of the latest version of our interior with the updated lighting and atmospherics, and how we've been conscious about what we're keeping, what we're not, and the visuals. So it's looking really good. In fact, we've got a little video that's just one of the things we do to sort of test ourselves, test the environment, test for mood, that I'll play for you now. It's filled with just gray people, which is fine, because the point is really about how the motion feels and how the attitude feels in this space. And that will loop for 7 hours because they built it so it's on a perfect loop.
we did actually mocap Peter for that dude dancing on the left.
Yeah, that's right.
That's his
That was incredible.
That's his signature move, yeah.
We put stuff together sometimes during development. It's an interesting note, but sometimes during development, you just want to put something together to see it and to make sure, like, is it looking right? Is it feeling right? And that's the kind of stuff that normally you never get to see, and I love that. We throw gray box characters in and chuck some animation on it and see how it's feeling. How many people feel right in a tavern for it to feel full versus empty and mysterious? And we do a lot of that kind of stuff, and we thought that'd be kind of cool to show.
And the lighting is still improving. It's really good
Yeah.
right now, but I think it's getting to be even better.
We're going to show some of Brad's work at the next AMA.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, that's
one of the
exciting.
things that I really loved about that is the sort of haziness that you have, that atmospheric effect that you do get in a giant smoke or fire lit place.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We should bring smoking back. It's medieval.
Yeah, why not?
It wasn't stickers on cartons saying you shouldn't do this. It was just what they did back then. Keeps you healthy.
It was easy to get cancer back then. It was so much better.
That's right.
You didn't live that long. The wolves killed you before you got cancer.
So the last thing I'm going to tease here a little bit is exemplars. And the exemplars have been with Mirandus a long time and evolving states. And this is the version that we've got right now. This is what people have been playing with. And just like the wolves and everything else, we wanted to really think, where should the exemplar really be? And so we've done some thinking about that, and more thinking about that, and how it should look and how it should feel. And here's an updated model that we've been toying with, probably cut too. I mean, everything else we've shown you, so who knows?
This is not cut. And if you want to go, let's just talk about it, Matt. Let's just talk. This is. Actually, go back 2 slides. Go back 2 slides. Oh my God. Okay, what is? I mean, come on, dude. Look at that. That's funky. And then go back 1 more slide. It's just. Here's the thing, guys, and I just don't want our people to look like it's like a spandex fantasy party. These are rugged survivalists, that are trying to live in a dangerous world. And I really feel like, you look at that guy on the right, look at his proportions and his funny little hips. He's not tough. I could take that guy, I'm pretty sure. But, go forward a couple slides. It's like Rip from Yellowstone. That guy's tough, you know? So we really want people to look, we want our races and the world. It's a dangerous world. It's a hard world. It's, it's tough, and you need to be tough to survive it. So this is what you're going to be seeing, and a little less of a Halloween, I don't even know what to call it, medieval spandex, ordered it on Amazon outfit party. So thank you, Matt.
Spandex.
Thank you, Matt and Brian and, Sarah and everyone on the character team helping us get to, a little bit more of a natural body and a rugged survivor look for our game. So you're going to be seeing this in all the races, which will be very cool.
This guy looks pretty badass.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure I can take him. I think we buff his pipes up, though, a little bit. They're not blazing.
I don't think I could take the raccoon we showed earlier, but this guy would definitely.
Whoa. You can't judge things on whether or not you can take a raccoon. Raccoons are freaking like, that's not even fair. Like, raccoons are like 2 steps below a badger. Like, badgers
Steers, man.
eat.
Yeah, this is the voice of inexperience. That's the voice of inexperience. Until you've tried to take your first raccoon, only then can you really talk.
then I'll have credibility.
Community vote. Should we get a cage match? Matt Bell.
I think I could.
Yes. Let's put it to a node vote.
Next Galaverse, Matt versus Raccoon.
That's right. Well, that's it for the art that we had to share at any rate.
That was super cool, guys. I'm excited. I absolutely love that. I knew it was going to be cool stuff. I didn't realize it was going to be that cool. So I absolutely appreciate you guys for showing that. And McCarthy, I appreciate that you have allowed them to show that. And security guys in the background, McCarthy got through this part. You can go. You don't have to threaten them any longer. It's okay.
It's all going to be deleted. We're starting all over. Ruined it.
It's live. It's already out there. People are working on things. I mean, virtual Duke of Mom says that a blog post is already in progress. So there's siege crossbows that are being written about. So
I think it's really cool, guys. I mean, one of the things, if you're new to Mirandus, if you know Mirandus, you kind of know a lot about why we're doing what we're doing. But I think for those that are new, art is you have to think about the design and the technology and the art all at the same time. And what you're seeing here is accommodating massive frame rates, our speed at which assets can be generated, creating a beautiful world that you guys get to walk around in and enjoy. It also serves other things. One of the things that I'm always conscious about is this is a game where if you die, there are pretty severe penalties. So, this is a world where we can't have everything be obfuscated. You are making a strategic choice by going out at night. You need to see what you might be up against behind that boulder or that tree. So this art style also lends itself to clarity on the battlefield and really you choosing how risky you want to be and what you and your friends, what kind of danger you and your friends want to get into. So it all kind of wraps up together, and it's getting there. It's getting there, and it just gets better and better all the time.
Thanks for letting me talk, because I usually stumble through my words. So,
Thanks for showing up, Peter. I mean, it was like 4:01. We're trying to connect.
Dude, I was right on time.
Oh,
Right on time.
It's okay. It's absolutely okay. You guys did fantastic. Do you mind if we pull some questions from the community?
Go for it.
Okay, awesome. So, Dr. Wookie, you're going to want to ask questions. You can go back and rewatch later. Smiling Monster has a question about cosmetics on exemplars. Is that a thing that you guys, from an art perspective, are considering? I know you've talked at great length about how the exemplars go together. McCarthy, I previously heard you say things about wanting to have all of the crap that your exemplar is carrying and wearing actually be visible, not just sort of a slot in an inventory somewhere. How does that sort of thinking fit into this?
Well, on the design side, this is the kind of stuff that we ask the community about. So there's one scenario by which there's a character creator and you can just tap on different eyebrows and hairstyles and beards and everyone has the same choices. But what it leads to is everyone looking quite similar oftentimes. So when we talk to the community about it, and unless they've changed their mind, and we'll ask you guys on Discord and stuff, but you guys liked the idea that we could have some of the some basic looks that anyone could engage in, but all of the cool looks like the kung fu eyebrows and the Gandalf beards, those could be NFTs. There could be scarcity, and you guys could own those. And I am definitely in love with the idea that there's like only 3 Gandalf beards in existence. Like, yeah, everyone can get beards. Maybe there's only 1, 2, or 3 that's very, very long and like, holy crap, look at that thing. So it's the kind of thing that you always have to plan, I think, to help define your style and what you look like and feel like inside the MMO. But our community, I think, also wants those to be NFTs, and we strive to put everything on chain when we can. And I think the scarcity of those looks makes them really cool and really interesting. So, yeah, I think that's probably how we're going to go about it.
Wonderful. I like that answer. I'm going to answer a question here from Punjab. Utility of the Blue Realm NFT. You're looking at it right now. This is the direction that we're going with this. This is a super interesting stream with the ability to ask questions being limited to the people who are holding that Blue Realm NFT. There may be other stuff that we do in the future, but this is the primary focus of this. Is if you want to be part of the community that gets to interact with to be completely I'm going to be a little bit blunt. These guys don't get out into the community very much because they're very busy doing art stuff. And so if you're interested in talking about art stuff, this is the access point, because these guys don't just hang out in Discord all the time like, degenerates like me. So that's what the Blue Realm does for you guys.
I always feel bad. Now making me feel bad.
Why? You shouldn't feel bad. You should be making games, man.
I know.
You're doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing. Okay, let's see here. I've got a couple more questions, and I know that the audio guy's not here right now, right?
Mike? No.
Yeah, none of the audio. Okay.
Mike, Roy, and Ethan are our guys. They are freaking awesome, and I wish they were here. But I think honestly, the audio of Mirandus is a worthwhile show in and of itself. I mean, those guys are, they take it pretty serious. They are industry veterans, and they are awesome.
I think that's absolutely cool. Let's see here.
We thought about, one thing that came up. I mean, it's kind of art related. It's more music related, but we've been talking recently about, they've made little tavern ditties for the tavern games. And then we've also made just like some dark ambient tracks that we've used for promotional purposes. We thought it'd be fun to chuck those into Gala music. Thought it'd be kind of cool, make them accessible, or I don't know, if people are interested in that, let us know. We could probably do that.
I'm interested in that. I like things like that. I think that's super cool. Now, I don't know if this is an art or a design question, McCarthy. I'm going to ask this question. If you tell me that I can't ask this question, then I'll shut up and find another one to ask. The first place that you land when you first show up in the playtest, the ones that I've played at least, is just outside of one of the citadels, right?
It is the beach at Narrow's Landing.
Beach at Narrow's Landing, and that is the Citadel of the Sun, correct? Now, you put that together. How much involvement was there from the owner of the Citadel? I know that Brad, you guys talked to Brad a bit. I know I saw some of that because I'm in some of those channels too. But some of the other future Citadels, how deep is the involvement between what you guys are doing and sort of their thinking in terms of design?
Yeah, the idea of the Citadels is that there's 5 great kings of the land, and if you own a Citadel, you are one of those kings, and you get to be involved in all of the process. You get sketches, you get to meet with us. We have a direct line to you on a Slack channel where we work every day. So you do get a pretty sweet customized experience. The other towns we've sold are awesome too, but we have to have places in the landscape where we have large, medium, and small class deeds that can be placed, and we never know, which large or medium or small class deed is going to be placed in those areas. So you get to be king, you get a direct line to us, and you get something built custom based on what we know the game needs, but also things that you may desire or think that are super cool. You also get to meet with our narrative director, and a citadel is kind of a big deal. It's never just a city. It's has to be woven into the storyline and the narrative of the game pretty deeply as well. So, they get a lot of involvement.
I like that. That's cool. It's one of the things that I thought was super cool when we first started talking about this as a concept. Let's see here. By the way, just so you guys know that Dylan, okay, who is our head of all of community management and all of those teams, the art from Mirandus is what brought him to Gala originally.
Aww.
So he's mentioning that in the chat right now, and I think that is super, super cool. And he is a massive, insane contributor to our entire organization and community. So good job,
Dylan.
We love him.
First
Yeah,
thing.
Dylan's red.
Hey, someone had a neat question about variation, like how much of the wolf. We don't have to go too deep into the design of the variations of wolves, but you guys can speak of how much we weren't able to show, of goblins, wolves, of these creatures. Like, how's the population of the world feeling?
Yeah, I mean, Matt and I talk about this a lot. You're not just making a creature in a game. When you make a creature, you're always conscious of, if we spend the time and development resources to create something in the game, how much additional energy would it take to make it different and feel like it's varied? So, when you see that wolf and you see its natural coloring, that's great. But isn't it cool to have a lone wolf who's painted black? And we would scale it up 20%. We'd make it stronger. And maybe you have to kill that to get the black pelt. A baby wolf, a little pup, is really a larger size. It's like shrunken down, but they have a larger head. So can you scale bones? Can you get a family of wolves out of making one primary resource? And you don't want to overdo it, because then it sucks and everything looks the same. But everything that we make, you think about, man, could I get a little more use out of this? Would it make more sense to have 10, 20, 30 variations? Matt, you can talk about that too, man.
Yeah, I mean, right now you've all seen like one type of wolf. It's the same wolf. It won't be like that. Absolutely won't be like that.
Yep.
And it's built into the assets. The way we're designing them, we're building in the planning of how we're going to get that variation into them.
Yeah, and there's also, because one of the things that Eric is working on, and I think Jonas, is the AI server and behaviors like pack behavior. So, one of the things that's coming online here pretty quick is that they're not just there seeing you and attacking. They're traveling in packs together, and they have a conscious awareness of faction, we typically call it, which is who they are friendly with and who they're not. So you want variations, so it feels like a varied wolf pack rolling through, and you want them recognizing that they're hungry or not and attacking a rabbit or potentially a deer, and certainly you. So yeah, everything we make, we try to be efficient about it. If you overdo it, it's stale. It's like, oh, that thing again, so part of the efficiency of our asset creation is so that we can guarantee a lot of variation, not just within one asset, but we actually can generate these models and get them into game a lot faster. Some games, it can take months to get a creature in the game. And that's why you don't see a large variety of them. If their animation list is too long, they just take too long to make, then you have to scale down the number of creatures. We don't want that. We want a large variety of things. So there'll be variety within the wolves, but there also will be a lot more creatures, custom things. Maybe there's one-offs.
So here's, oh, sorry.
That was it.
So here's a question. Do you guys see a place one day for community generated content or UGC?
It's a tough one. A lot of it has to do, I mean, it touches on a bunch of different stuff, I would say, so if you're going to have UGC, how does it actually make it into the game? And you have to have this entire tool path and path by which something can be, uploaded. It has to be performant. You need to have checks on that asset to make sure it doesn't bring the game down. You have to be able to upload that to a server. That needs to be included in a content package. I mean, it's kind of like an entirely different game you'd have to build to have people just making stuff in 3D and throwing it in the game, where we can intersect with the community is really through concepts. Concepts are a place, like if there's really cool drawings and really cool ideas, that's where we can kind of intersect on that front, and then we can generate the content, make sure it's performant. And how's the nav mesh and how's the colliders? Can you walk through it? Can you? It's a big thing to put any asset in the game. So that's probably the easiest way we could do it, and it's a priorities thing too, Jason. I mean, one of the things we always think about,
Sure, of course.
While you can do anything, the community wants the game out, done, and being able to play and be active on chain. And so everything that we add that's a major feature like that slows other stuff down, and we're trying to prioritize getting the core of the experience live to people as soon as possible. So
how would you guys feel about having a community focused contest, if you will, surrounding like the creation of a specific design, like a sword hilt or a piece of jewelry or something like that, that may be something that isn't like any random person just throwing stuff, but there's the community has come up with X numbers of ideas. These are the 5 that people really like. You guys pick one that you think would look cool in a game.
I love that. I mean, I'd love to have a contest where someone gets to design, if the winner gets to design some sword that only, it's a one of one, I think that'd be really rad and really cool. It has to fit into the game too, so that's why we really need to work with people when we put content in, because, it can start to stray, and pretty soon the world doesn't look as great if weird stuff starts going in. But man, I love the idea of a contest where
I've got a question.
Work close. You're not even fielding shit from the community right now.
I know. I'm just asking questions that I want to know answers.
You want your own shit. You want your own.
No, it's so the things that communities asking for things like they're asking a lot of game design questions, which I'm kind of filtering out. Unless I mean, I can ask him if you.
No, keep it art focused, because, like I said, we're gonna have an AMA. We're gonna have an AMA in a couple weeks, maybe less. And
cool.
We're gonna go
over those questions can all be saved for that. They're asking for some concept art for like the dragon familiar, things like that. Stuff like that they're very interested in. The Sword of Win, whatnot. Full wall portrait of the mother, asking for a friend. Cough.
Sword of Win.
So stuff like that. So they're commenting on Peter's dog. You have a nice scary wolf back there. So congratulations on that. My question is
Mona
related to lighting. Can I ask a lighting question?
Yeah.
Because I think it's an interesting thing. Because Mirandus, the first thing I noticed when I played is I didn't have any curtains in my office at the time, and so I get the late afternoon, like insane Pacific Northwest sun at a low angle that makes it impossible to see anything without the brightness turned up to like 11 on my screen. And then so I just simply couldn't play Mirandus because the game is dark at night. Like it is dark with a capital D.
Well, now, let me just stop you right there, Jason. The game is dark, or is it dark at night?
It's dark at night. Very good point.
Right.
Nighttime is dark, which I guess
Nighttime is dark.
So the question though is that you have different types of lighting that show up in the game. You have like torch lights. You have like those burning little baskets of stuff
with Lantern of the Sun.
Yeah, you've got you've got the Ring of Discord.
Yeah.
Okay, which is cool. And then yes, you have the Lantern of the Sun, which is like a freaking searchlight of doom that shines out into the world.
Yeah.
And so my question is when you think about lighting and you think of handling these various levels of specularity and whatnot, what does that do when you take something like the Lantern of the freaking Sun and yeet it into the world? How much extra work does that create for you guys in terms of like checking to see if something works while having a bazillion gigawatts of light pointed at it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. You do have to tune it. Lighting, so we want a natural world. If it's dark at night, it's going to be dark at night. We're not going to artificially make a dungeon or a cavern like, oh, I can totally see in it. You're going to want light. And in the tech test, we had Lantern of the Sun, but we actually just read about this today. We have a feature kicking off, to make sure that everyone can have light in the game. It's about your ability to craft lanterns, what the primary fuel source is, how do you acquire that fuel source. So when you have a very, very bright light, you just have to tune it. It can blow things out, and then suddenly you can't see the game at all. But we've made a promise that the Lantern of the Sun is the brightest light that a player can get, and I think it certainly was in the tech test.
That was crazy in the tech test.
Lanterns are,
It is called the Lantern of the Sun.
Yeah, it didn't say lantern of the shitty candle.
Right. No, but it was always funny because I'd be standing there. I didn't even have a freaking Ring of Discord because at that point in time, it couldn't even pull from my inventory. So I'm just sitting there in the freaking dark, like spamming wheat. So because it's the only thing I can freaking see. And then some guy comes walking by, like with this insane, like gigawatt lamp that he just like shines around and it casts this gigantic light
of the sun
on everything. It's amazing.
They're legit.
Amazing.
But yeah, I think, and the design intention is that players can craft lanterns, and we talked a lot about fuel source today, and did a lot of just historical stuff, and tried to make sure that how were oils provided for lanterns, what sources were there, and starting to tune.
Smiling Monster says elf blood burns well. I don't know. I don't know if that's a direction that you want to go,
but yeah, so we want to create a natural world, and it's a great thing to align a team around. I think from a direction standpoint, because it answers a lot of questions for you. In a lot of games, they just make it all up, and it makes the world feel unnatural, and in my opinion, a bit uninteresting. You can't even tell when it's day or night. It's night. Well, it looks like day, just slightly bluer. So it doesn't feel like a natural or interesting world. I think it's way cooler to, we're trying to simulate
full of terrors
in real life experience. If the six of us wanted to go into a cave and we heard unnatural noises coming from it, we would be hesitant to go in. We wouldn't want to die. Who's got the lantern? Do we have enough oil? You'd be thinking about all of those things before you would step foot in there. So we're just trying to create a natural world, have light fall as it would. And then, if you have a Lantern of the Sun, congratulations. That's pretty sweet. And other players, there's an elf that can actually see pretty well in the dark. There's a dwarf that sees pretty well in outside of the starlight and inside of caves. And then there's also, lanterns. And so we want to give players the ability to craft lanterns, and, they're going to need to supply oil to, carry around. The real question is, what can you carry while you're carrying a lantern? That's big discussions. That's pretty big discussions.
That feels like it's going to be eventually a, Doom pistol or flashlight conversation.
Yeah, I kind of like it that, like, Jimmy, you hold the lantern, we'll kick all the butts. I don't want to be the lantern holder. You're level 3, man. You're the lantern holder. Just sit back there and shine a light.
Don't drop it. Don't accidentally put it away. We're all hosed.
We'll give you 30 Materium if you just carry the lantern for us.
Lantern boy.
Remember what happened with the raccoon? You're the lantern guy. You failed against the raccoon.
We also were talking today that it would be kind of cool, if you're in an old dungeon and you're in an interior space where it's very dark, would you find old braziers? Would you find maybe, old things on the wall, and could you use the fuel for your lanterns to light those along your way, almost like a breadcrumb trail to help you get out? So yeah, a lot of cool discussions on it. But again, it's where we're trying to simulate what it would feel like to be in that world, and that's usually our North Star. So there'll be lanterns, and they'll take oil.
The Zorro Gala has a question here. Could we get a Mirandus art post for the Blue Realm community? Maybe like a background that people can have on their computer or something like that. That's got the Blue Realm and Mirandus. Can we do something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we can. I mean, Hugo.
Hugo's got
I actually think we do release a lot of art, but are we doing the good job of making sure that it's the right, like pixel ratio and stuff?
I need a new background because I've been using some Last Expedition art for a long time, but it was like a quick screenshot, so it's got like some weird like the register marks, the little X thingy in it, and I need something new.
Hugo's art we release in 4K, and when it's the wallpapers, we also do them now in phone format.
Nice. Thanks, Manuel.
Okay.
I mean, I'll tell you what, what I would prefer, and we're kind of just there. We have so much content now, and we're building out this world. It's like we can always do concept art, but I think it's cooler when it's an in-game shot because the game's pretty. I think. I mean,
It's so pretty.
Well, and it's only getting prettier. There's some cool lighting shit we'll show off at the next AMA. Had a pretty big tech win on that side. That's again, a cool thing we'll show off. But would the blue community be down for a really sweet in-game screenshot that maybe people haven't seen? Or
Yeah, sure. Let's just package it up nicely so that they feel like it is something special for them, and we'll just drop it in the Blue Realm channel only, and that'll be something that they get to see, and there's the secret Blue Realm thing. Well, guys, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the community today, or should we wrap it up?
Just a final question. It was mentioned for Hugo. It comes with a caveat. The art behind you, I know some of that is yours. I also know the yellow one is Gustav Klimt. But they were asking if it's yours. And could you? I know the story. How did you get so good at color?
Oh, yeah. I suppose it's like a natural sensitivity for colors, but I practice a lot. Like there is no secret. It's like when you do sports or guitar or play trumpet, you need to practice. So yeah, I grew up in France, and I was practicing watercolors as a teenager. So I practiced my color skill pretty soon, and I didn't stop it. So now I feel more confident with my color than before, obviously. But yeah, and there is no original behind it. There is it's not an original Mignola. It's
an original Clint.
Yeah, it's original Clint. $2 million.
Hugo might not be working here if that was an original Clint.
Yeah. It just prints, and this girl, the African one, is one of my personal drawing. Yeah, but the others are one of my favorite artists, like Klimt and Mignola specifically.
Peter, who did the art in your background there?
That's my daughter. It's old stuff. I need to take it down and put up some kick-ass stuff that I've made.
This is Enchantment at Dagger Lake by Anna Fiddler.
That's really cool.
It's really beautiful. Anna Fiddler is amazing.
Can I say something? Being an artist in a game company, especially this game company, It's fucking fun.
Aw.
Just saying. I've been doing this for so long, but I still love it.
Just because you're working with me, Peter. It's just
Yeah.
you're
McCarthy.
back, baby.
That's
You're
right.
back. You're
That's
mine
right.
again.
Hey, let me drop off my cape and then.
The clip.
Inside joke. Inside joke.
Well, guys, thank you very much for taking the time and sharing this with the Blue Realm holders. This is something that they have waited for a long time to get a little bit of utility and have that access and be able to engage and ask these questions. So thank you so much. And Mirandus is, I cannot imagine a better game to start this out with because of just the sheer amount of beauty that you guys have to show. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, man. We're always happy to share.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to be doing this with other games on a semi-regular cadence. I'm trying to aim for at least once a month. It will not always be me hosting. There's going to be a few other people who are a little bit more artistic. I can manage stick figures competently well, but beyond that, I do not have mega insightful questions to ask. I just ask about stuff that I think is super interesting. So there will probably be other people hosting this, but we'll try to do this pretty regularly and continue to lean into that community. And we appreciate you guys sticking with us. And I again invite all of you, if you're in Gala Gold, by the way, make sure that you drop into the Gala Gold chat in Discord at galagames.chat and go to the announcement section. We're doing a couple events. One is going to be in San Diego towards the end of this week. There's a Gala Gold VIP event on Friday night in San Diego at Comic-Con, where it's a limited list of people who will be able to get in. So check that out. And then I'm going to be doing an event on Saturday night in Los Angeles. Also limited number of people can get into that. So if you would like to come to either of those, make sure that you check it out in the Gala Gold chat. And just a few of us are going to be there and would be delighted to see you guys. So make sure that you come hang out. And I guess that's it for today. So until next time, peace out, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.